in the course of working with lime, I came across the concept of limelight. Limelight is theater lighting. It was the first bright artificial light, and it was essentially a piece of lime that I've already made, obviously calcium oxide, that was bathed in a flame of oxygen and hydrogen, produce an intensely white light. So that's what it means when you're in the limelight. Anyway, in making lime, I thought, I wonder if I could make limelight. If I'm going to make limelight, I need hydrogen, and I want to try making hydrogen so I can try making limelight. So hydrogen is dangerous.
Of the humanity.
I think the Germans proved that pretty well for us in the 1930s. So if I don't want to go down in history as the next Hindenburg, I'm going to have to be really careful about the way I manage any hydrogen I manage to produce. The other thing is that making hydrogen requires using some somewhat dangerous substances. I had actually recorded an intro to this video when this thing was all in pieces, but I lost it. And so I'm going to just give you a couple of concepts here. So the way you electrolyze water is to put an electrolyte solution into a bath that contains some electrodes connected to negative and positive sources of electricity. You need to be above like 1.23 volts of potential across the electrodes, and the higher you go, the more gas you produce. So the concept of this thing essentially is I have essentially just two T's that I've put sealers on the bottom, and my first attempt was I used these threaded seals. Well, that did not work well. You'll see that in the video because there's a column of pressure here. This is a low pressure fitting, and so wrapping this with Teflon tape did not work, and so the thing leaked rather badly, so I'll have to work on that. And I haven't yet produced enough hydrogen in order to collect it and do it usably. I have produced hydrogen. You saw me do that with the potash video, but it certainly wasn't of any usable quantity. And if I want to make limelight, I'm going to need a lot of hydrogen, hundreds of liters of it. So let's cut to the construction video, and we'll see what we can do. So it's time to drop the electrolysis chambers into place and see if we can suspend our electrodes. As far as my mechanism for suspending my electrodes and getting a seal which is both watertight and gas tight, this is my thought. I'll go ahead and suspend the electrodes in there, then I'll put these over the threaded rods, and then I will use washers and nuts on either side of this stopper in order to squeeze it and make it expand to fill all the gaps, both between itself and the hole and between itself and the threaded rod. When I'm done, I'll have something that looks about like that. So there's one of my two electrodes, compressed stoppers to try to fill gaps, make this thing watertight and gas tight. My electrode is suspended there between those nuts and bolts. It's kind of like building a ship in a bottle. I had to do it bit by bit from the inside. Finish up this other one, then we'll fill this thing up with electrolyte and see what happens when we apply some potential across it. Time to make up my electrolyte, if you will. This is sodium hydroxide or lye. I have no idea how much to use, so I guess I'll probably just use too much. This is the reason for the stainless steel, by the way. Stuff is excessively caustic. Again, I would suggest not trying this at home. This just really doesn't seem safe. And this is the problem, of course, with a half gallon of highly basic solution, is that the thing might leak, which it did. So I've applied power across my electrolysis chamber here, and by gum, I got bubbles. It's not particularly exuberant, so I don't really know how much I got coming across here, but I've got something. Let's see if I can collect any of that, get some idea of what my production rate is, which I'm pretty sure is not high. That's obviously my oxygen because it's much less active than this one, which has got to be my hydrogen. You may remember these from the gasification of wood and charcoal. Never forget a good idea. And we'll just do this as a prototype run. We have a lot of work to do on this thing. It's actually leaking a little bit, which is not good because this liquid is dangerous. I have to fix that. And I really have no idea how much gas I'm going to produce here. This is an old battery charger, which may be one of my problems. I might need to up my game on the amount of current I'm pushing across this thing. So let's give it an hour and see what it's doing. I'm actually going to cut this episode short. I did do a proof of concept on this thing, but as you can see, it leaked highly basic solution all over my work surface, and now I've got to clean all that up. Plus, it's apparent that this isn't going to cut it from a electricity standpoint. I think I need probably both more current and more voltage. That's probably partly due to the design of my device. So I'll be back with another iteration of this particular thing. Also got to figure out a way to keep it from tipping over because it's filled with over a gallon of really kind of highly corrosive fluid. So anyway, let's call that one an episode. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you want. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to. And to tell your friends again if you want. Again, if they're not interested, that's fine with me. I will see you at some future point and explain why I want hydrogen gas as well. So thank you very much for watching and have a great day. Just one quick shot to show you what happened when I spilled that lye. It was trapped under this, and it took that paint right off. I mean directly off, right down to the bare wood. That's impressive. I did not know lye would do that. I guess we know why they call it a caustic compound, because it is a caustic compound. Anyway, see you later.